Interacting with objects, part two. Now, the reason why there's a part two is because in part one, we had a cube, we dragged it up, we rotated it a little bit so it would fall onto a plane, which I'm now going to quickly add. So add mesh plane, which I scaled up so it was nice and big. And what we did on both of these, we went to physics and we added a rigid body to both of them. So it was lovely. The cube bounced. Well, the cube bounced only because I set it to bounce, but it kind of always kind of maintained its shape as if, like, if it was a solid shape, which it kind of is as we look at it. But sometimes you might want something like a cushion effect. So when you like press down on a cushion, or cloves, or something which is like rubbery or jelly-like, so it kind of this cube would deform in some way, and that's what this video is about basically. So this time, instead of us actually adding a rigid body, and this is on the physics thing, remember, we're going to add a soft body. And as I scroll down, I'm going to untick goal. And if I don't untick it, basically this will just float in the air and pulsate a little bit, which kind of works if you want to do something like that. But in this case, I actually want this to fall down. So on the edges, which are ticked, I'm just going to change bending to 0.5. And I'm also going to tick stiffness and change that to 0.1. So basically what that means is it will bend and buckle a little bit, but it will also maintain some type of stiffness. And the only thing I need to do then is click on the plane and add a collision to it. So when I press play, it will fall, and you'll notice that it kind of like squidges around a little bit. So it looks like it's something which is like a hard rubbery type of substance. So the one thing I want to do actually, I want to change that, and I'll show you what happens when you do change it. If you do it so it's like really low, like 0.1, and I press play, it kind of gets really, really, really wobbly. And I think if I can change the stiffness on something, so if I kind of knock that up so it's a bit higher, a bit lower, you can have it so it kind of looks like it bounces around like you want it to. Now, the one thing is with it, it does kind of look, well, it does kind of work as a rubbery type of shape. But if I want to do something like jelly or something like clothing, I am actually going to need to edit this cube a little bit. So I will have to go on to edit modes. And what you'll notice is on edit mode, if you ever press play, it doesn't actually work. It runs, but it doesn't actually show it unless you're on object mode. So if you've done it by accident, you're thinking, oh my God, my animation's not working. That's the reason why. So what I'm going to do to the cube is right click on it and subdivide the faces down. And I'm going to click on this and maybe knock it up so it is about 5. And if I come back to object mode and press play, you'll notice that it kind of crumples like that. So that kind of fell a little bit like a material. But like I said, I wanted to do like a jelly thing, but that kind of got its place, isn't it, in many ways. So what I am going to do is change the bending to 0.35. And when it gets back round to frame 250, this time when it falls, hopefully it'll maintain its shape a little bit better. Now, you'll notice it starts to get really kind of laggy at that point. So something which is really nice about soft bodies, if you actually come up to, I click on the wrong thing, yeah? If I scroll up to where it says cache, and I click on bake, what that does then, it starts to actually record that animation without it playing, so it kind of keeps it in cache memory for us, which is a nice little tool. So rather than it kind of almost falling apart every time it plays, this time, look, it looks a little bit smoother. Now, one thing I do need to point out, it's quite pixelated here. So I could go back on it and do more subdivisions, or potentially I could click on this, and I might have to pause this at this point because it'll go a bit crazy otherwise. I could go on the modifiers, that's what the wrench is there, add a modifier, and a little bit further down on this list is subdivision surface. And as soon as I clicked on it, it's starting to kind of process, almost crashing on me, but you can see it looks a little bit more detailed. And if I knock this up to about 4 or 5, it won't go any higher because it'll start to melt, I think. When I press play and when it falls, it looks kind of pretty cool, actually, what it's doing there. Right, so that's great. So the one thing at this point, what I want to do is have another one of these. I'm going to put you on pause a second because I just want to see if I can get something to work. Because the idea is I want another jelly to fall onto this one, and I want it to interact with it as well. But just give me a second. Back, as I thought, I kind of thought to myself, I'm going to copy and paste this cube, move one up above it, and we'll see how they interact together. But when I tried to do that, something might be something to do with Blender 3.6, but it didn't quite work. So I've had to add another cube. I've moved it up. I've put a soft body on it. I've subdivided it. The only thing I haven't done is add one of those modifiers to kind of like, well, actually, I'll do that now because I think I probably will need to do that. So I'll quickly do the modifier and subdivision surface again. We're going to ramp it up so it is up to there, and I'm not going to press anything more. Now, when I press play, they won't interact with each other. So I'll show you what happens now, actually. I'll press play, and they'll both fall. They'll both do this squidgy thing, but they won't actually interact with each other at all. As you can see, it kind of went through it as if it wasn't there in the first place. So the way to get them to interact with each other, if I actually click on them individually and then come back onto our physics tab, and I'm just going to select collision, and I'll do the same with this guy as well, collision. And this time, when I play it, and it might be a little bit glitchy, but when it falls, they should, in theory, interact with each other. So we're going to see what happens now when it actually gets down to it. So that one works fine. It's going to start kind of like wibbling and wobbling here because I didn't bake it, did I? So that's something I will need to go and have a look at as well, baking both the soft bodies. I only did it on the one. But the idea is when this kind of finishes doing what it does, and it's because I'm doing it on my laptop, it should be much better on a classroom PC. They then interact with each other. But my graphics card, my processor, my memory, is starting to really struggle with this here. It's only got the frame number 32 and it's decided to have a wobble. Now then, how can I use, oh, here we go, look, it's starting to do something. How can I use these soft bodies within my animation? Ta-da! And ta-da! One thing I did, I basically made sure that this had a collision set on it, so these guys would bump into it, just to give you a bit of advice. So did my grass, because on the other videos I've shown you, I talked about putting a rigid body on, so it's just collisions. And the one thing I learned from this process was I baked these cubes, and then I put the goat in, and I was puzzled why these were actually bouncing through the goat. So you might have to delete the bakes you've done, you'll see how to do it, and then rebake these so then they interact with whatever you've added since baking it last, if that makes sense. Right, in the next video, could be looking at how to add sound to our animations, potentially looking at how we can kind of make this grass animated as well, which is to do with the particle system.